Hey guys, it's Tealus. Welcome back to True Shot Lodge for the second part of this two-video series looking at Beast Mastery Hunters and all of the changes that are coming to them in World of Warcraft Legion. In this video, we will be looking at PvP and PvE talents that will be available to the Beast Mastery Hunter in Legion. However, before I get started, I kind of want to show you these new Spirit Beasts here that we have. We have this Spirit Moose here, which is pretty epic looking. And I believe I mentioned in the last video that you have the ability to make your pets the same. So we have actually a person who has chosen, whoops, there's all of my inventory there. We have a person who has chosen two core hounds, or to mirror his core hound over to what is Hati. You can see over on the right hand, his name is actually Hati on the right hand side, and his real pet's to the left. So Hati, I believe, has the ability to mirror whatever the pet is. So if this person wanted, they could actually have two of these glowing mooses as their pets. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and get into the PvE and PvP talents for a Beast Mastery Hunter. Now, things have been shaken up a little bit. They're a little different from the way they are on live. However, for the most part, if a talent returns, I will say that for the most part, it is the way it is. And yes, that is a sheep that you just saw roll across our screen as a pet. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the talents. As I said, if a talent returns from the old, from live version, it generally has retained the same characteristics, and it functions the same way. But let's go ahead and start with the first one, which is Big Game Hunter in the 15 tier. It increases your critical strike chance of your auto shot and cobra shot by 50% on targets who are above 80% health. This is very important because you want a lot of critical hits because you want to be able to summon more dire beasts. And if you have an increased critical shot on your auto shots by 50%, that means you are going to be popping Dire Beast a lot, and so you will be able to generate more focus and then fire off more Cobra shots. The second one here is Way of the Cobra. Cobra shot deals 10% increased damage for every pet or guardian you have active. So guardian, I believe, also refers to Dire Beasts that you may summon. So Cobra shot dealing 10%, we can actually test this here. And we'll go ahead and have these, that was stupid of me. Let's go ahead and exit out of combat here. And then we will switch into Way of the Cobra as soon as I can get out of combat. There we go. And I will attack now. And so my Cobra shot now does, looks like 29,000 damage with both pets active. I will activate Dire Beast. And now does 31,000 damage, a little bit more. I don't know if I'll be able to get a double Dire Beast up, but it definitely does make a difference there in terms of how much damage it can do. Oh no, it does 31,000 damage there even without a Dire Beast. So, I do not believe that there is going to be any buffs for having a Dire Beast there. It is just for your active pets. And I believe the Guardians they are in reference to are maybe some other PvP talents that we will get to later. So, going back to the talent tree, we have Dire Stable. It is a passive. Dire Beasts generate an 8 additional focus over its duration. So if you want, you can have your Dire Beast generate 20 focus over its duration instead of just 12. Personally, I'm torn between Dire Stable and Big Game Hunter. Right now, I think Big Game Hunter is so appealing because I'm facing target dummies. They're always at around 100% health. That may change when I'm actually in PvP. So I'll kind of have to test and see which ones I like better, but it's an option for both of them. In the 30 tier, we have Stomp. When your Dire Beasts charge in, they will stomp the ground, dealing 47,000 physical damage to all nearby enemies. Let's go ahead and just use this here. And we actually didn't get to see it there. Did not see the charge there, so let's go ahead and back up. And there goes Hati again. He's really eager for battle. Alright, let's go ahead and attack this target here. And there's the Stomp right there. I don't know how he's teleporting up on top of that thing, but man, I have an acrobatic wolf. Let's just leave it at that. So, that is that ability, and I need to keep trying to get these targets off. So, let's pull up the next ability, which is Dire Frenzy. It replaces Dire Beast. 13.5-second cooldown, so it's a little bit longer than what Dire Beast is, and it causes your pet to enter a frenzy, performing a flurry of 5 attacks on the target, gaining 45% increased attack speed for 8 seconds, stacking up to 3 times, and it generates 25 focus. Let's double check to make sure. Let's double check to make sure how it affects with Dire Stable. Yes, it does affect Dire Stable, so it will generate 33 focus. And this is instantaneous as well. So whereas before it's over 8 seconds, Dire Stable will basically, Dire Frenzy will instantly generate that focus. So that's something that you have to look forward. You can look for, and you can choose if you want to. Now, I alluded to this many times in the last video. I talked about how something was needed to be added to the rotation to make things, I guess, to make Beast Mastery more viable, to make it fluid, and this is it. Chimera Shot. I know this is very strange, because Chimera Shot has always been 100% iconic marksman ability, and it is now a Beast Mastery ability, which kind of makes sense, because it is a two-headed Cobra Shot, basically, one dealing nature damage and frost damage. It's a beast shot, if you will. So it makes more sense for it to be a Beast Mastery ability. But really, this feels right with Beast Mastery Hunter, and Beast Mastery Hunter feels correct with this in its slot, and every hunter out there is advocating to have Chimera Shot baseline for Beast Mastery Hunters, and then have something else replace it in the tier, and then people will be happy about it. So as you can see, Chimera Shot still functions generally how it is. However, do notice that it is 8-second cooldown, and it will generate 10 focus for every target hit. So it is another focus generator. So you have your 2 focus generators in Cobra Shot and Kill Command, and then you have your focus spenders, and then you have your focus generators in Chimera Shot and your Dire Beast. I personally have been playing with Chimera Shot. It's just the way to go. It makes sense to me, and it works. There's Post Haste, which is exactly how it is on live. In the 15 tier, Disengage frees you from all movement impairing effects and increases your movement speed by 60% for 8 seconds. There's Far Strider. Your ability critical strikes have a 10% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on your Disengage. So you have an option there dealing with Disengage. And then lastly, we have Dash. It increases the duration of your aspect of the cheetah by 3 seconds. So you basically get to choose, pick your poison, or pick your, I don't know, pick which one you like in terms of your escapability, your ability to get away from a target. On the 60 tier, this is one that I'm kind of contesting myself. I'm not sure which to choose. The first is one with the pack, and it grants Wild Call 10% increased chance to reset the cooldown on Dire Beast. This is the ability that I almost forgot to tell you guys at the end of the last video. But this is a passive, brand new, and it's your auto shot. Critical strikes have a 20% chance to reset the cooldown on Dire Beast. This would bring it up to 30%. I really like this because the more Dire Beasts you have, the more annoying it is because you got all these pets on a target, and then at the same time you're generating much more focus. However, it competes with blink strikes, which I also really like. It makes sure that targets are, or that your pets are always on the target. So it's something that you can deal with. However, when you think about it, in a PvP setting, when you're facing a Beast Mastery Hunter, you can no longer just like CC the pet and be done with it. You have to deal with 2 pets, so you have to CC both of them, and it's going to be frustrating for people to deal with this. So maybe Blink Strikes isn't as strong as you would like it to be. Maybe you would like it to be a little bit stronger than it actually is able to. There is a nerf to it in the fact that your pet can only teleport once every 20 seconds. So that's kind of a nerf to the way it is. It still does the 50% increased damage, 100-yard range, still there. But I'm kind of leaning toward one with the pack on this one instead of the Blink Strikes. In the middle here, we have Bestial Fury. I keep wanting to say Bestial Fury because it's natural. Bestial Fury, which increases the damage bonus of Bestial Wrath by 20%. So, I mean, having that on board basically means both you and your pet deal 40% increased damage for 15 seconds. So basically, You're choosing onto whether or not you want more damage out of that Bestial Wrath, or you want to have Bestial Wrath up more often when you have one with the pack. If you end up having a lot of crit and haste, you're able to have a lot of focus regeneration, you're able to have Bestial Wrath up a lot, because remember that every time you use Dire Beast, it will reset the, every time you use Dire Beast, it cuts the cooldown of Bestial Wrath by 15 seconds. So you kind of need to make a choice here on whether you want that damage bonus or you want one with the pack. One with the pack is the one I like the most. However, with some PvP talents that we'll get to, it might be Bestial Fury that you like even better. The 75 tier should look very familiar to everybody. It is exactly like the 30 tier, and everything functions exactly like the 30 tier. So Binding Shot, Wyvern, Sting, Intimidation, all exactly the same as the 30 tier that is on live. Don't expect any changes there. In the 90 tier, we have a Murder of Crows. Functions exactly the same. It is still there, extra damage. I personally really don't like this ability. I've never liked it because I never liked the 1 minute cooldown. Can only be reset if someone dies. But considering the other options in this tier, I'm actually kind of leaning towards this one because I mostly PvP with my hunter. But and the fact that Barrage costs so much focus, I'm actually sort of leaning towards this now. But it's still there. Solid option, and I do know that most hunters end up taking this anyways. You have Barrage. This works exactly like it does on live, same as usual. Volley is back. This is a little different. They originally, just a patch ago, were trying to make this as, standard volley. Your standard volley where you basically you have a target reticle, you put it down, and you start volleying arrows. And then they decided that it didn't really work out. So they decided to change it. While active, your auto attacks spend 3 focus to also launch a volley of shots that hit the target and all other nearby enemies, dealing 6,800 additional physical damage. Let me give you an idea of how this looks. It is an activated ability. So I'm going to attack right here. I'm going to get all these training dummies in vision. Multi-shot so we can see what we have active here. And then I'm going to use volley. And I'm going to go ahead and use it. So now every auto shot is going to launch down arrows. Just like that. And it's going to cost 3 focus every time. So as long as you're okay with burning 3 focus every single time, you can have volley. This is going to be a very powerful AoE tool, and I expect a lot of PvEers to take this, because when you have your beast swipes, that's totally the wrong, beast cleave, excuse me. When you have your beast cleave going across doing that, and then on top of that you have the volley, it really doesn't take too much focus for this to continue to go through. So it may be something that players would like to use in terms of actually dealing some AoE damage. As far as PvP is concerned, I don't see anyone taking this because it really doesn't make sense to take something like this. But it is an option. So something there, it is a toggle on and off ability. It's pretty potent in terms of AoE. Honestly, it's probably a better option than Barrage in terms of being able to deal AoE, but maybe it can be frustrating because you have to make sure that you have the correct target in the correct area so that the AoE hits everyone around that target, so that can be frustrating. In the final tier, we have Killer Cobra, which while Bestial Wrath is active, Cobra Shot has a 25% chance to reset the cooldown on Kill Command. Remember that once you get Titan Strike leveled up, Kill Command actually is activated on both pets. And then it does the heal and all those other talents inside Titan Strike. So Kill Command has a lot of buffs in Titan Strike. So this can be pretty potent. There is, excuse me, there is Aspect of the Beast. It is a passive. Kill Command causes an additional effect based on your pet's specialization. Your target bleeds for 8,200 physical damage over 6 seconds. Your pet also takes 15% reduced damage for 6 seconds. Or your target's movement speed is also reduced by 50% for 4 seconds. I honestly would probably set my pet to Cunning and have that additional movement speed, especially since I never have to stop running around and being a nuisance. I have Binding Shot. I have, I have a Concussive Shot. I have ways to get away. Aspect of the Cheetah, you name it, and then I can continue to just kite people with this aspect of the beast on top of that. So it can be really annoying, and it's something that you can probably take for PvP. Your last option is Stampede. Okay, 3-minute cooldown. This has been changed. Finally, this is what I think Blizzard always imagined Stampede to be, and this is what everyone always imagined Stampede to be. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here, and then I'm going to have Stampede activated, and you will see it's actually a Stampede. You're actually going to see pets rush and deal damage, and it does a lot of damage. I mean, this is no joke. Players who have been leveling in PvE have decided to just gather up a whole chunk of enemies and then just stampede them all to death, and it's done a lot of damage. So that is an option open to you. I honestly don't know how effective it will be in terms of PvP, but in PvE, this will still be a very powerful option open to you. So I guess you could say Stampede has been nerfed in PvP, but it has been buffed in terms of its damage in PvE. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the honor talents. As you can see, I actually have no access to them, but I can see them all, which is good. I'm glad they don't block them out. And in this video, you'll actually be able to see what level you'll actually be able to get these talents, so you get an idea. Now, leveling works in honors. You'll start at level 1, and you'll level all the way up to 50. And then at level 50, you have the option of prestige and start over again. Well, why would you prestige and start over again? Because you start back at level 1. Now, as you can see, I get this gladiator's medallion at level 1, quick shots at level 2. I get dragon scale armor at 4, and it goes all the way down. And then it starts back up at the top again, level 13, and it goes all the way down to 28. Finally getting your last ability at level 46. So, if you like a lot of abilities on the right-hand side, you may not be wanting to prestige ever for your class. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this. The first two tiers are basic across all classes, the first one being the same across every single specialization in the game, the second one being special to your kind of the grouping of your specialization. In this case, the grouping is going to be ranged DPS. So in this first tier, we have Gladiator's Medallion. When you first enter BG, you will get something called an Honorable Medallion, which is like the heirloom trinket that gives you a 3-minute cooldown, get out of jail free card, you know, it's your trinket. Gladiator's Medallion reduces this to 2 minutes. It will replace your Honorable Medallion, so you do not have both of them. Your second option here is going to be Adaptation, which I personally like for PvP. All loss of control effects with a duration of 5 seconds or more will activate your Honorable Medallion spell, but only causes it to incur a 60-second cooldown. So basically you have a minute spell, but you don't, a minute trinket, but you do not have, you know, kind of control over when that's activated. Now, it does not replace an Honorable Medallion, so if you really feel like you need to get out of a sticky situation, you can activate your Honorable Medallion, but it'll incur a 3-minute cooldown, and then you will be forced to wait 3 minutes before Adaptation is available again. The last option here is Relentless. I really only see tanks taking this because it replaces your Honorable Medallion, but the duration of incoming crowd control effects is reduced by 25%. That is your third option. In the next tier, we have the ranged DPS tier, which is Quick Shots increases your haste by 6%. Initiation, critical chance of your damaging abilities and attacks increased by 30% on targets at or above 80% health. And then Focus Fire, damage increased by 15%. Being attacked will cancel this effect for 8 seconds. I really don't like this. I think the only way I would like this is if I'm playing the long-range marksman. When we actually get to marksmanship, you'll see just how long-ranged a marksman can be. That would probably be the only time I really like this. Otherwise, I think Initiation is my favorite, specifically because of Wild Call and getting more procs off of my Dire Beast, which means more Bestial Wrath, which means just more damage. So that would probably be my choice in this tier. In the third tier, we have Dragon Scale Armor. Magical damage overtime effects deal 20% less damage to you. Cat-like reflexes, critical melee strikes against you deal 30%, grant you, excuse me, grants you 30% dodge for 4 seconds. And then lastly, we have Survival Tactics. Feign Death removes all harmful and magical effects and reduces damage taken by 100% for 1.5 seconds. So basically, you get to choose which type of opponent you like the less, and you're able to counter that a little bit with one of these talents. In the third tier, we have a lot of our stings returning. We have Viper Sting, which is a passive. Your Cobra Shot stings the target, reducing their healing done by 30% for 12 seconds. Viper Sting is removed if the target casts a non-instant cast healing spell. So, just think about this. You cast Cobra Shot a lot, Viper Sting will always be on the target. I mean, you will always have 30% reduction on, 30% healing reduction on that target, always. You have Scorpion Sting. Your Cobra Shot stings the target, reducing their physical critical strike chance by 50% for 6 seconds. My motto is, basically, if a hunter ever has melee getting close to you, then you're playing hunter wrong. That may be a little difficult now that you've lost your traps, so maybe I can't make that as my motto anymore with hunters. But I would definitely probably still take Viper Sting over Scorpion Sting any day. The last is Spider Sting, which is a new one, and it is a 45-second cooldown. It's an actual ability, and it stings a target with a potent spider venom, causing their next offensive spell cast to silence the target for 5 seconds. Lasts for 8 seconds. So basically you have a second counter shot. Counter shot 24 seconds, and then you have Spider Sting at 45 seconds. You have 2 ways to silence the target. So if you really hate casters and you don't like dealing with them, I mean, between Spider Sting and Counter Shot and Feign Death, you can piss off a lot of casters, which is pretty cool as a hunter. It's always nice when you make them real mad. But in all honesty, as a Beast Mastery hunter, the pets alone are going to frustrate the crud out of casters. So I personally would probably still stick with Viper Sting as my go-to choice because between Counter Shot and Feign Death, I believe I can mitigate enough caster damage and let my pets deal the bulk of the frustration with them. First in this 5th tier, we have the Beast Within. You guys recognize this. Reduces the cooldown of Bestial Wrath by 30 seconds, and you become immune to all fear and horror effects while Bestial Wrath is active. I really like this. I love this. I love this so much because, think about it, you now have a 1-minute cooldown on your Bestial Wrath, and each time you use Dire Beast, that cooldown's reduced by 15 seconds. You're always going to have Bestial Wrath active, and that's what makes me want to take Bestial Fury, and I think it ends up being better than one with the pack, because you have that 40% damage bonus on Bestial Wrath, and you have all those immunities, and you have the constant cooldown reduction coming in from the dire beasts that you're summoning, which just ends up being it feels kind of broken, and it's pretty awesome. The second ability here is Separation Anxiety. When your pet attacks a target alone, without your assistance for 5 seconds, it becomes enraged, increasing its damage done by 100%. Attacking your pet's target calms it down, removing the enrage effect. This allows you to maybe split damage pretty well. I'm not quite sure how this is going to be received. This could be received as a very popular talent, being able to split and really frustrate the enemy. You know, capture the flag, maybe one can be on the healer. You can be on the healer with Viper Sting, while your pets attack the tank and deal lots of damage, and that can be something that's really potent. I'm not sure how this is going to be received, but it could be very valuable. The last here is Wild Protector. Your pet protects its allies within 8 yards, reducing damage taken by 15%. I would really want my pets protecting me, and since I'm going to be so mobile and running around, generally my pets probably wouldn't be near me unless I'm having to deal with some really pesky melee. In all honesty, I like the other two better than this one. That's basically what it comes down to. In the last tier, we have Go for the Throat. When you kill command a target at 40% health or lower, the cooldown is reset. Just think of it this way. Once you get a target below 40%, you constantly are going to be able to start activating all that damage that comes out of Titan Strike, including the healing that comes out of Titan Strike. That's all you have to think about. Is you're going to be able to kill command, kill command, kill command, kill command, and really keep your sustain up while being able to take someone out and finish them off. Your next ability here is Dire Beast Hawk. It summons a hawk to circle the target area, attacking all targets within 10 yards over the next 10 seconds. 30-second cooldown. It's a target area, which, like I said, it's very difficult to actually go into BGs and test these because you go in and it takes a long time to get into a BG and test this. But a target area basically means that it's going to have a reticle. Um, so I honestly, anytime there's a reticle that I have to deal with in PvP, people just avoid the area and it's not worth it. So I kind of hope that it would be something that, here we go, once again the PvE server's kicking me off. I would hope that it would be more like a, something that sticks to a target, that you will constantly be able to stick to a target and it will follow them and then it will be within that 10 yards. Maybe that's something they'll change, but for now it looks like it's going to be a ground targetable ability that you will, just kind of have to deal with. It's kind of my feelings towards something like a disc priest power word barrier. Very useful in PvE, but in PvP it can be frustrating just because of the sheer fact that not everyone's going to be able to stay in that area. If you want to get the damage reduction, you can find that area, but at the same time, you may need to leave that area because too much damage is being put out. In this case, you put the hawk down, and then everyone just leaves the area, and it's completely worthless. The last here is Dire Beast Basilisk. You have a 2-minute cooldown, summons a slow-moving basilisk near the target for 30 seconds. 30 seconds! That attacks the target for heavy damage. This could be pretty powerful. It's a powerful burst damage, and then you go ahead and go ahead and pair this with Bestial Wrath and your pets on the target with all your other dire beasts on the target, and you're overloading people, which is really cool. I love how you're literally throwing pets at the target, and that's what makes the new Beast Mastery fun. Before, it was all about enhancing your one pet that you have a bond with and making them super powerful. Now it's like, my pet can be powerful, but I can have like 50 pets to throw at them too. Which makes, the true master of beasts. It's like the definition of the character. And so with that, I really love the direction they're going with Beast Mastery. As I mentioned earlier, they desperately need to make Chimera Shot baseline and hopefully bring back Master's Call. If they're able to do that, I can see Beast Mastery being in a beautiful position. They will have to tweak numbers, yes, but you want the play style to be fun before they start tweaking numbers, and that's what we're attempting to do with the beta process and the feedback that we're giving. But otherwise, I love the new direction that they're going with Beast Mastery Hunters. I love the difference. You will see in the other Hunter videos how each of the specs have really, been given their own flavor. Even Marksmanship, which will probably be the most like the old Hunters, it'll be closest to old Hunters, still feels really different in how they've set them up. So I'm really excited. And then of course Survival is literally a brand new spec. It's as new to the game as a Demon Hunter. So you guys are really going to love it, and I hope you guys enjoy the interaction that you can do with all of the abilities and the pets you have, and the fun stuff that you can do with changing your pet and how they look. So that is everything for Beast Mastery Hunters. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Tearless out.